Assalamualaikum and hi. For this video, I will present about mycotoxin contamination in food. Before I continue for my presentation, I will introduce myself. I'm Nur Nadila Elisa bint Yusuf from SMTM5. My metric number is BACL 1905531. In this video, we are going to look for introduction, mycotoxin characteristics, symptoms of mycotoxin, effect when exposed to mycotoxins, prevention to avoid mycotoxins contamination, and lastly, the issue that happens in Africa. For the introduction, mycotoxins are toxic secondary metabolites produced by fungi. These compounds have different chemical structures. It is including many species of Fusarium, Aspergillus, and Penicillium. Molds that can produce mycotoxin grow on numerous foodstuffs such as cereals, dry fruits, nuts, and spices. Mold growth can occur either before harvest or after harvest, during storage, on or in the food itself, often under warm, damp, and humid conditions. Most mycotoxins are chemically stable and survive food processing. Exposure to mycotoxins can happen either directly by eating affected food or indirectly from animals that are fed contaminated feed, in particular from milk. Next is mycotoxin characteristics. First, mycotoxins are considered to be heat-stable molecules because of their toxic effects. Information about their stability in thermal processes and potential inactivation procedures is needed. Second, mycotoxins are low molecular weight natural products produced by molds that are toxic to vertebrates in low concentrations. Third, mycotoxins are non-antigenic, which exposure does not induce a protective immune response. Lastly, mycotoxins that commonly occur in cereal grains and other products are not completely destroyed during food processing operations and can contaminate finished processed foods. So, the next is symptoms. The people who exposure to mycotoxin contamination may lead to these symptoms like cough, abdominal pain, throat irritation, vomiting, diarrhea, and headache. Different people will show the different symptoms on mycotoxin contamination. Next is the effects on health after consuming mycotoxin. It is maybe the short-term or long-term effect for human health. First, liver cancer, reduction of immunity, alterations in the protein metabolism, gangrene, which is death of body tissue due to lack of blood flow or a serious bacterial infection, convulsions, and respiratory problems. Next, prevention to avoid mycotoxins contamination. To minimize the health risks from mycotoxins, people are advised to inspect whole grains, especially corn, sorghum, wheat, rice, dried figs, and nuts such as peanuts, pistachio, almond, walnut, coconut, Brazil nut, and hazelnuts, which are all regularly contaminated with mycotoxins. For evidence of mold, and discard any that look moldy, discolored, or shriveled. Then, avoid damage to grains before and during drying and in storage, as damaged grain is more prone to invasion of molds and therefore mycotoxin contamination. Next, make sure that food are stored properly to keep free of insects, dry and not too warm. Lastly, ensure a diverse diet. This not only helps to reduce mycotoxins exposure but also improves nutrition. Next is the issue of mycotoxin contamination in Africa. The prevalence of mycotoxins in African food and feed commodities have been well documented in literature, and major factors that contribute to this have been identified as climate change, poverty, limited or lack of awareness, poor regulation and legislation, and poor agricultural practices. Climate change has in fact been proposed as probably the most serious environmental issue. Since mycotoxin production is climate dependent, changes in climate conditions has been suggested and proven to lead to possible drastic modifications in fungal population and attendant mycotoxin production. The people are lacking of appropriate mechanisms to promote and educate consumers on the harmful effects of mycotoxins. In 1993, observed that the various health problems amongst dogs through the consumption of contaminated dog food. The first occurred in 1987 where 10 cases of fatality were reported and histopathological evaluation revealed chronic symptoms of necrosis, bile duct proliferation, hepatocellular fatty degradation, fibroplasia were observed. So, that's all from me. Thank you for watching.